with Andy, Ruther and Joe Praino. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm Andy Ruther, coming to you live from the clubhouse in downtown Los Angeles with my co-host, sitting on the couch with me today, Joey No Chill Praino.
Yeah, doubling up on the couch. Last time we were on the couch together, I jumped off your couch and started running around on your bed. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. You were a drunken disaster.
Yeah. I should drink every show.
No, you shouldn't.
You sure?
No, you shouldn't.
That was a great episode.
It was a good episode.
I watched clips of that yesterday.
Oh, you finally watched clips of that. There's some GIFs, or is it GIFs? How's it pronounced?
I don't know.
There's some GIFs going around of your antics that night.
Yeah. I'm glad to be in GIF form finally.
Yeah. I just feel weird because, again, this is the backroom casting couch. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like
the backroom casting couch is black.
Yeah, but this feels like multiple girls have been cummed on this couch. I mean, just look at it. It's worn and torn, and
The clubhouse. I have a feeling they have.
Not gonna lie,
If you have a leather couch and a girl hasn't gotten jizzed on it, then you've wasted your money.
Yeah, when I look at this couch, the first word that comes to mind is bukkake.
Okay.
And I haven't said that word for a while.
I was just saying on our way here, I was like, I think at this point we've jumped the shark at the potential of this becoming an actual TV show. We open with bukkake.
No, I disagree with you. We can cut the bukkake stuff out and do sports comedy.
Thus the bukkake.
Just thus the process, Praino. Thus the process. Did you watch the tournament games? I was out of town this weekend. Did you watch the games?
I watched almost all the games.
With anger.
Did I watch them with anger?
Yeah, you have so much hatred towards college basketball.
I don't have hatred towards college. Why do you think I have hatred toward college basketball?
Because I've read your tweets. I've listened to you on our show.
Just since this tournament started, I have taken notice that the quality of basketball is poor.
But you remember my tweet to you on Friday was, I think you sound kind of like a pretentious douche when you say that.
I don't know what to tell you. I like watching good basketball. And I'll tell you what, the one great thing is this weekend we had some well-played basketball by certain teams. I know nothing about college basketball. I've already said that prior to the tournament starting.
Okay.
But to me, North Carolina is the best team in the tournament. The closest they're going to have to a scare is Kentucky. I think they win it all. They're the one team that I watch and I'm like, okay, these guys play basketball. They pass the ball in the high post. They do interior passing. They're helping on defense. There's really nobody except that point guard who gets into too much of a hero ball mode. I think the best all-around player is Justin Jackson in the whole tournament. I think that they're going to be the champs. And since the beginning of the tournament, now again, it's harder when they're a 1 seed and you watch them play a 1-16 game. It's like, of course, the 1 seed is going to look good against a 16 seed. But I also watch them in the ACC tournament, and I watched the second Duke UNC game. Those are the only games I saw, and I was like, oh, okay, they're good. I didn't want to be I didn't want my one watching of a North Carolina game at the end of the season to make me biased and be like, oh, they're the best team in the tournament. But I've thought they've looked good every single game I've watched them, and they play good basketball. Every team, I feel like it's just bad shot after bad shot.
Let me just jump in here. I think, again, we continue to talk about two different things.
Right.
So take Thursday.
Yeah.
There's 4 games Thursday in the Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm.
Of the 4 games, 3 were decided by a total of 6 points.
Okay.
To me, that's interesting. That's fun. Sure, West Virginia literally pulled, I don't know what the fuck they're doing at the end of the game, but it's still interesting. You're like, wow, this is a fucking train wreck. I'm going to watch this.
Yeah.
So it's exciting to watch.
But we watched.
But is it exciting to watch for you?
But the thing is, it's not really exciting to watch, except down in that last 2 minutes. And then.
But how is it not exciting if a game's going back and forth all game?
Because I just don't like to watch sloppy basketball. I don't like to watch guys come down and take forced threes. We were watching the game with Tug. We were watching the Michigan. What was that? That was Michigan.
Michigan.
West Virginia?
No, Michigan, Oregon.
Michigan, Oregon at your place. And then you left. Once you left, you're a catalyst for conversation for all of us. But we started like really talking basketball, and Like the down no, we were.
Is that a low key dig at me?
No.
Once you left to do your awful comedy show, we started actually talking.
No,
basketball.
we got into like basketball. We got deep into like basketball talk
Because you guys were watching the West Virginia Gonzaga game.
Right.
That's why.
And we were literally just the whole game going like, I can't believe he shot that. Like the whole game. It's like, what? Why are you shooting that? And to me, these guys are great athletes. And the three-point line is a little shorter than it probably should be these days. And everybody just hoists challenge threes the whole game. And it just becomes like it's almost like a shooting contest more than it is basketball. I just don't like to watch that. Like, to me, when a team takes bad shots, it's not enjoyable to watch. And that's the difference. People keep coming at me like, wasn't that exciting? And it's like, yeah, that's exciting. But, like, the Florida-Wisconsin game went to overtime on like one-footed lean runner and then was won on a 1 foot. Like, these are terrible shots.
And that's exciting. They're winning on these ridiculous shots.
I understand. My point is I just like to watch good basketball, and I really enjoy when I'm watching two teams play good basketball. UCLA, Kentucky was a good game. Kentucky, North Carolina was a good game. And as the tournament goes along, obviously you start paring down bad teams. But there are still teams like your game, for example. Gonzaga wasn't playing great basketball. They were just like fucking hitting all their shots. And you're like, okay.
But what do you mean by that? So the Gonzaga game, Xavier, because they're undersized, they're undermanned this year. They've been sticking in the tournament to the 2-3 zone or the 1-3-1 zone.
Right.
So
when you play zone,
nobody was hitting shots.
Right.
Florida State couldn't hit shots. Arizona couldn't hit shots. Hence, Xavier kept upsetting people. Gonzaga draining all their threes.
Right. And that's my point. But isn't
that good basketball? They're finding the holes. They're hitting the shots.
Absolutely. The key to breaking a zone is making your jump shots.
Yeah.
But my point is they were taking challenge jump shots and making them. Whereas good basketball, you're working. Look at the way North Carolina really doesn't force, except for that point guard who from time to time gets into hero ball. They take good shots. Like the shots are open. They're coming off screens. They're coming at the back door.
Shots.
It's not just like let's fire and see what happens. Like to give an NBA equivalent, people love to shit on LeBron James for losing in the finals to the Dallas Mavericks. That Mavericks team for a whole playoffs was unconscious. They just hit every fucking shot, and it's like that's good basketball because they're going in. But there's also just good basketball. North Carolina to me has been by far the most impressive. They take good shots. They move the ball well. They're playing defense. They're helping out. I just like to watch good basketball. Otherwise, I get frustrated and I get bored. And yeah, I wake up at the end when it comes down to like one team just with a chicken like with their head cut off.
All right, let me try to put it in perspective. So let's say a girl's sucking your dick.
Yeah,
but it's not the best blowjob.
It's exactly. It's like blowjobs and pizza.
Okay.
You know, the worst pizza is still fucking pizza.
I gotcha.
But I like delicious pizza. I'm an Italian man.
Even if she's giving you gator head using the teeth.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I'm not going to stop her because my penis is in her mouth.
But if I have another girl who's nearby, who's a professional, who's doing a great job, I'd rather that. And that's the NBA.
And see, Joe, this is why our show needs to be on TV, because ESPN and Fox Sports 1 are not doing hot takes comparing college basketball to a girl giving you gator head.
Yeah. Gatorhead is college basketball, and a professional sex worker is the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, if I have a choice,
I gotcha.
Taking somebody who knows what they're doing.
Well, here's what I like about the tournament. You have 3 of the 4 Final Four teams basically had never been there. I don't give a shit that Oregon made it in 1934. Again,
1939, Andy.
Whatever.
There's only 8 teams in the tournament.
Exactly. Only 8 teams in the tournament, plus you know my opinion. If black people weren't allowed to play, none of those records matter.
Right. And in 1939, there weren't even black people in Oregon.
Yeah.
They hadn't made
it that far yet.
No, absolutely not.
There was one
They
guy.
were dying on the Oregon Trail.
There was one guy. He was the weed dealer for the entire state. Yeah. That'd be great if they had one guy just dealing weed for the entire state. Yo, man, you call Tyrone? Yeah, man, he's the dealer. Who's he the dealer for? He's the dealer for everybody.
I guarantee you in 1939 in Oregon, there was one weed dealer for the entire state.
Yeah. Small state. So I think it's interesting, like, where we have it set up. So you're going to have Gonzaga versus South Carolina, who nobody picked.
Right.
Poor Matty Goldberg. You know, his hot take was these SEC schools.
Well, so yesterday, I misread his tweet at me, but he came at me yesterday. He's like, I thought he was saying that I said that, but what he was saying is I must have tweeted it. I didn't tweet that. Obviously, you tweeted it. But I went back and listened to the show. You said, is South Carolina going to get upset by, who did they play in the first round? Somebody.
VCU, I think.
Yeah. And
7-10 game.
Yeah, and he said absolutely, and he went into this whole thing on football schools. It was literally a question about South Carolina's game. He had them losing in the first round because they're a big football school, and then somehow I got roped in, and I was like, dude, I didn't even do a basketball preview show. I was in Costa Rica. You dug your own grave on this one, buddy.
Well, that was the thing when we were in Vegas. He was telling everyone at our table, bet on this game. That was his surefire, hands down.
Oh, the VCU game.
Money line bet of the tournament was that VCU was going to win. Well, it was South Carolina, right? I don't feel like looking it up.
Yeah.
But I assume it was. But, I mean, it's amazing that the SEC, who's been shit on all year, had 3 of the final 8 teams in the tournament.
Yeah.
Which says something about the league, I think. And I want to bring up the Gonzaga thing. And obviously, Shabelli, congrats.
Too boring.
I'm looking in the camera. You won. It's a shame you didn't make a bet with me, though, Shabelli.
Yeah.
CT made a bet. I got to donate $100 to some cystic fibrosis, like a good charity fund up in Seattle. I'll do that this week. But Gonzaga, look.
Up in Seattle? Oh, right, because
Yeah.
he's in Seattle.
I'm not going to take this away from them making the Final Four, but they never beat a seed higher than 4. I mean, that's just a fact.
Well, that's that's who you're supposed to play if you're the 1 seed.
No, I know, but I'm just saying they had an easier route. Let's just be honest.
Okay.
And even now, they get to play a 7-seed South Carolina. But Xavier got worked, and it was tough. You know, I blogged about it, guys. You should read the blog. It's a great blog at dirtysports.com. There's nothing worse than watching your team just get manhandled by yourself in a Hooters. And I realized during that game, the last time Xavier was in the Elite Eight was 2008. And ironically, I was also at a Hooters in San Diego.
The same Hooters?
No, a different one.
How many Hooters are there in San Diego?
I don't know, but I do know this.
So I just want to pause for a second. So this weekend, you're in San Diego for shows.
Yeah.
You got up. You had to get out of your hotel room.
Yeah, I had to check out at noon.
And you're going, I'm going to go watch the game. Did you immediately Google Hooters?
No, I Googled Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay.
Basic white person here.
Right.
So I Googled Buffalo Wild Wings. It's in some shopping center, like complex, probably 7 miles from my hotel. And I pulled up, and parking, you know me, just the anger and frustration. And I'm like, oh, a shopping center. I don't want to be around all these fucking idiots. And there was a Hooters directly across the street.
Okay.
So I go to the Hooters. At this point, it's like dead empty. I get there like 20 minutes before the Xavier game. And first of all, I had been eating shit. So I was like, I got to get something somewhat that has greens in it.
So you ordered the Caesar chicken wrap.
So I ordered wings, and I also ordered a buffalo chicken salad, which was the most unhealthy salad ever.
Yeah, buffalo chicken is involved.
Yeah. So I ordered that, and they had my food out before the game was even on, and I felt like a douche, and I had my laptop open, and I was like, look, I got time to kill. I'm basically going to be here all game. Because, you know, you want to be drinking beer. Like, you don't want to be a dick to the waitress. Very hot waitress, by the way. Jasmine, if you're listening,
She's not.
I would totally eat your ass, for the record. Very hot, black waitress. A lot of hot girls at that Hooters.
Why you gotta tell us she's black?
Because it's important. I like to say people's ethnicities.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, I watched the game, and it was very disappointing, to say the least.
Well, I gotta say, my favorite part of the Xavier game was that for the first time, literally the first time ever, you were a fan of something.
It's just not true, Joe. And I hate this brush you've painted with me.
Your tweets had no jokes. You're just going like, stop double teaming the big Polish guy. You're like, you're tweeting about the refs. You're finally showing some sort of emotion towards a sporting event.
I show a lot of emotion. I'm a comic, so I write jokes a lot of times. Okay, 90% of the time.
I mean, you have a thing where you basically say you only write jokes, and then during the game, your Twitter feed became a Xavier fan watching the Xavier game, and it was nice to see, Andy. It was nice to see you care about something. I know you and your dad. It's like the one thing you guys shared when you were a child. It's like it was a very, very emotional day for you. It's a chance to go to the Final Four. I know I was rooting for you because it was good. It would be good for the show. You going to the Final Four with Walt, all the periscopes.
Walt wouldn't go.
No, I thought for sure. You buy Walt the ticket. You guys be Facebook living.
He buys his own ticket. He's retired. He was a stockbroker. He made money. I'm not paying for my dad's ticket. But there's also rumors, and it's all. If you go to dirtysports.com, there's a big discussion on Gonzaga winning, and there's theories that we have an intern this summer who decides to go to Gonzaga. Suddenly they're in the Final Four. Is this another example of the Dirty Sports bump?
I think it is. It's clear. It's very clear. I wish I had thought about the Dirty Sports bump when I was picking my bracket.
Yeah.
I would have picked Xavier to go farther. I would have picked Gonzaga to go farther, You
would have picked Ball State to win the NIT.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, hats off to you, Shabelli. You did it.
Yeah.
Do you know who Adam Morrison is, though?
Now, so they've got South Carolina. You think they beat South Carolina?
I think they got a good chance.
And then they just get boat raced by North Carolina.
I hate that Pollock on fucking Gonzaga, though.
Yeah.
He's an oaf. I don't care what anybody – like I did that tweet about stop double teaming. Shabelli wrote back like, good luck, see what happens. He finished with like 5 points and 5 fouls.
Right.
He's no offensive game.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a little touch around the basket, but he's – yeah. I was at a bar when that game was on, and these guys were talking about whether or not he could play at the next level, and I literally walked over. I was like, no, he cannot. I was like, sorry to interrupt, but – no, he'll never, ever play at the next level. I was like, enjoy your drinks.
By the way, you know nothing about basketball.
Yeah. I was like, I'm sure you guys watching the tournament seems like he's like, you can't average 5 points in the NCAA tournament and play at the next level.
Yeah.
Also, if you can't dunk, you can't be a big in the NBA.
He can't dunk?
I mean, I don't know. He was basically on the floor most of the game. He's got a lot of touch around the basket and stuff, but he's not exactly an athlete.
Yeah. No, and that's my thing, and I tweeted this out, and I still stick by that. Even though Xavier was undermanned, Xavier had better, even like J.P. McCure is a good athlete.
Right.
They had better athletes than Gonzaga. Gonzaga just hit all their shots, and
that's why what it comes down to in this tournament is like the teams with the athletes that also play well. Wisconsin obviously made a pretty good run, and Wisconsin loves their white guys, so they have to play.
Yeah.
The same way we talked about the Patriots guys running good routes. Like Wisconsin, when I'm watching, I was like, at least they're playing fundamental basketball that I can watch because they need to, just to be there. And Florida,
whoa. I wouldn't say that, Joe. I don't know if you've seen the YouTube comments about your Patriots video.
Yeah.
People are losing. People have been losing their. That video's been out for 2 months.
Yeah.
Oh my God, white athletes? They're like giving Chris Hogan's 40 time. If you really think that white athletes are better than black athletes, you're just stupid.
And the other thing is, I mean, I can't believe some of the. I mean, you saw the Kaepernick tweet I put out the other day.
Yeah.
That has fucking ruined my life. I never thought. I was like, this is going to cause a stir because people hate Kaepernick.
Were you basing that basically? That was kind of an extension of our conversation we had on Thursday's podcast.
And then the Saints called Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
And so I said, like,
we're not doing calls today, real quick.
Yeah.
But on Thursday's episode, we have a great hot take from A. Millie about why the Saints might sign Manziel.
Okay. Can't wait to hear it.
I'll tease that for Thursday.
But what I couldn't believe, I was like, okay, I'm going to get the people who hate Kaepernick because they're like fake patriots and they think everybody, they think you should salute the flag and, close your eyes and pray while the national anthem's on. Then, of course, you're going to get like the racist Trump supporters. I was like, I never thought part of this backlash would be people who still think Johnny Manziel can play in the NFL. Like the idea that those people still exist.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
It's literally mind-boggling.
He couldn't beat Brian Hoyer to start for the Cleveland Browns. He's terrible.
He's been out for a year. He's been out for like he'll never go back.
No.
You tell me a player who sat out for a year who went back at that age.
Michael Vick.
Well, he didn't sit out. He was
Right.
incarcerated.
Right, but I'm just saying he was out. Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's the thing. It's like Johnny Manziel was definitely out for partying
But
but he was also terrible.
He was awful.
We've talked about it before. You can party. Lawrence Taylor did cocaine every game.
Yeah.
They never benched him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you got to be good.
Yeah. Lawrence Taylor actually is arguably the best defensive player ever. Not only on cocaine, on fucking hookers too.
Arguably, who's arguing against this?
I mean, I don't know about you, but after I've been with a hooker all night, I don't want to play football.
Yeah.
That guy was destroying people.
That's my point. But like this just goes back to the thing. The people that the things that people like freak out about, it's unbelievable. I was dealing with Johnny Manziel defenders. I was like, what is happening to my life?
Yeah, dude. And the fact that, because then obviously that's retweeted on Dirty Sports. And so I'm looking at all the mentions and I'm just like, this is you know what that feed was for me? That was a microcosm of our political situation in America.
Yeah.
You either have to vote for Hillary or you have to vote for Trump. No, you don't. Actually, if you're not a fucking retard, you can pick someone else, and we can maybe avoid these future idiots running for office.
Yeah, I even said the Venn diagram of Johnny Manziel slurpers and Trump supporters in my mentions was just a circle.
Yeah.
It was just people that are like, Manziel can still play. And I click on this guy's profile. I'm like, does this guy live in Texas? And be like, make America great again. Hashtag Texas Tech. Hashtag Texans. Hashtag Cowboys.
Hashtag drain the swamp.
Yeah, it's
we're
like-
going to drain the swamp with Johnny Manziel doing dollar signs while he sits on the bench for the fucking
It's
Browns.
unbelievable.
So, Oregon against UNC. I'll be honest, because I was at that show. I didn't watch any of the Oregon-Kansas game.
Oregon looked great.
Looked like they dominated the game.
Yeah, they didn't dominate, but they pulled away late, and they never gave it back. And they looked great. Of course, the year after, I bet $600 on them when we went down to the pond to watch them play in the Elite Eight. Now they figured out how to get to the Final Four. But they looked great. Dorsey looks like a great player. I don't give them a chance against North Carolina. I don't. To me, they're the only team I've watched. I'm like, this team fucking plays good basketball, and they have athletes,
And they have
a good coach.
And they have a guy who looks like a State Farm insurance salesman who hit the game-winning shot against Kentucky.
Yeah.
Doesn't May look like a guy who would get you some fucking car insurance?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so
Now, of course, Oregon will probably win, and then people are like, oh, Praino, oh, you love March Madness now. Again, I know nothing about college basketball. I think the one college basketball game I watched this season was Duke UNC's last game. But then
doesn't that undermine your whole argument? You're confessing that you didn't watch any college basketball
until the tournament.
But then you're saying it's all shit.
Yeah, because I started watching the tournament. I've watched 60 basketball games in 3 weeks, and 55 of them have been horribly played, just like well-defended three-point shooting contests.
You're not going to give up this argument. It's amazing.
It's just I'm just telling you, dude. First of all, I'm a sports fan. I host a sports show. I want nothing more than to get involved. Like when the World Cup happens, I'm like, let's do it. Let's get in the World Cup. When the Olympics happens, I'm like, let's go. I went to a hocky game last night.
No, but I'm curious.
I want to care about the March Madness.
When you're in a relationship with a girl, do you double down this hard?
What do you mean?
Are you sticking by your point? You're like, it's not even exciting to watch. Do you double down when you're dating a lady? Do you double down on your arguments? Do you give in?
No. But if I'm right, I stand by it.
You are such a stubborn fuck.
If I'm right, I'm right. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. But I'm not wrong. When
have you ever admitted on this show that you were wrong?
I'm sure I have.
The fact that we can't even think of it off the top of our head.
Off the top of our head, I don't know.
We've had this show for 3 years.
I'm sure there's something.
Just admit
I was wrong.
that Brian Fitzpatrick sucks.
I don't know if I was wrong about that. I was wrong.
See, you're still not giving that up.
I was wrong about the Cubs last year, kind of, but not really.
You're not even admitting you're wrong.
They still were stupid to give all that money to Jason Hayward. But I wasn't even wrong about the Cubs last year.
Okay, dirtballs, you guys have a mission.
I've already admitted. I just did it recently. I forget what it was. It was like semi-recently that I was like, I was wrong. This happened. I was wrong.
Unbelievable.
I don't remember what it was.
I don't even know. I mean,
but the bottom line is, it's here again. It's not about excitement. That's where we're having a divide. You keep going like, isn't it so boring? It's not boring. I just don't enjoy watching bad basketball, whether it comes down to the last shot or not. Now, I still watch it, and at the end, you're like, oh, this is exciting. But then when in this tournament, you have to agree, 80% of those final possessions have been train wrecks.
A word I would like to use, the official Dirty Sports word of the year, debacle.
Yeah. I mean, what was the game that we were watching that was like the word? Was it the West Virginia game?
Yeah, I had already left my apartment.
Yeah, that was 30 seconds. The guy, it was like.
I mean, I get it. I tweeted out that 30-second segment set back basketball 200 years.
The dude took a fall away three, airballed it. Same guy got it back, took a deeper one, barely hit the rim. Same guy got it back and was just trying. He was like, third time's the charm. He was like, I'm going to do it again.
He's the guy who just keeps going back after the girl on the dance floor, and you're like, dude, she wants no part of you.
Yeah.
You know what's amazing, though? That Bob Huggins did not have a heart attack that officially killed him during that segment. Because if anything was going to kill a coach, it was that 30 seconds of basketball.
I was telling Tug this. I love that Bob Huggins is so fat he doesn't even think about a suit.
No.
He's like, where would I even get a suit?
He's basically wearing pajamas on the sideline.
He's like, do you know, I would have a heart attack buttoning a shirt.
But he was never.
He's basically wearing a Snuggie.
When Bob Huggins coached Cincinnati, he dressed in a suit. He was sharp.
Yeah.
When did he?
He's put on 150 pounds since then.
At what point in his life did he just say, "Fuck it"? I'm going out in pajamas and I'm coaching basketball.
I think it's when Kenyon Martin shredded his knee. He's like, that's it. I'm going to eat myself to death.
Yeah, Kenyon Martin breaks his fibula and he's like, I'm done. I'm done with this. No, I think it was the DUI. The DUI that he got, which basically got him fired from Cincinnati.
Right.
That was the DUI didn't lead to more drinking. It just led to nonstop fucking
He's like,
food.
I'm driving under the influence of cookie dough ice cream, motherfuckers.
They're like, Bob, you can't be driving under that again, man. We told you. How many DUIs we
He's just like,
you?
he's driving with two hands stuck in pints of ice cream. They're like, how are you even using the wheel? He's like, oh, I'm driving with my knee.
I'm going to put out the bat signal right now to Jay Lloyd. Can we get a Photoshop of Bob Huggins coaching on the sideline wearing a Snuggie?
with two fists and cookie dough ice cream like Chunk from the Goonies. We got Rocky Road, Rum Raisin.
Do you know how Rick Pitino was getting all those players by setting up like basically a prostitution ring?
Yeah.
Huggins at West Virginia, he's just like unlimited breadsticks.
Yeah.
He's like, man, you guys come to West Virginia. You got all the food you can eat.
Yeah. Yeah, Bob Huggins, jeez, disaster.
The one thing I want to say before we move on from the tournament, Joe, that I keep having on the rundown, which we haven't gotten to.
Well, I'm glad we saved it for now because so much has happened in the last few days that make it even more exciting.
What's that? What I'm going to say?
Are you talking about the Kentucky thing?
Oh, no, we'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say.
Forget it.
I'm disappointed that.
Spoiler.
That we don't get to see Gus Johnson and Bill Walton calling games. And I understand that one has a contract with Fox and one has a contract with ESPN, but a lot of these announcers have contracts with multiple networks.
Yeah.
And they still, like, especially Gus Johnson. Gus Johnson needs to be calling games.
Well, but Gus Johnson, see, I kind of put it on Gus Johnson a little bit. Like, you sign with Fox. Fox is never going to have college basketball.
But no, they do. They have the Big East.
Right.
Bill Raftery. No, but hold on.
I'm saying
Bill Raftery.
March Madness.
Bill Raftery and Gus Johnson are the main Big East commentators. Bill Raftery also has a deal with CBS.
Well, then I put it on Gus Johnson's agent.
What the fuck are we doing here, guys?
Rise and fire. A new contract in front of me. I need to be doing March Madness.
My name's Gus Johnson, and I call March Madness.
We need Gus Johnson. He makes it exciting. He makes bad basketball because honestly, that's what's missing from this tournament. When guys take those reckless, heavily guarded 3-point shots, he'll like scream their name. He's like, Smith.
Yeah, no, you're right. Actually, those awful shots being called by Gus Johnson. And what about Bill Walton?
Yeah.
Imagine Bill Walton just tripping his balls off on some fucking form of LSD calling these games.
If Bill Walton is not calling March Madness next year, I'm broadcasting the whole tournament as Bill Walton, and I'm charging people $1 to listen.
Oh, you're gonna do your own broadcast?
Yeah. That's it. Fuck you. Bill Walton's calling it one way or the other.
Okay, give me a preview. How would Bill Walton call that West Virginia sequence against Gonzaga at the end of the game?
Let's see. So we got – what was that dude's name?
I don't know his name. Let's just make up.
I don't know his name, and no one knows his name. No one should ever know his name. This man should be taken out into the jungle, given massive amounts of peyote, and look inside his own soul and say, why? Why am I doing this? Why don't I have love in my heart? Why is it all selfish? Why is it all me, me, me? God is love, and love is God. Pass the ball. Pass the rock, little man. Pass it to a big man down under to throw it down.
That's a good way that I can see Bill calling the game. Well, Joe, last night you went to an Anaheim Ducks game.
Yeah, shout out to Dirtball Jack LeBeau once again for the tickets. He got me a set of tickets to Rangers at Ducks, and then also a shout out to Andrew Pym, who came up to Section 420.
Is it Pym or Pimmy?
Well, I don't know. It might be Pimmy, but his buddy Jack, we were all messaging, tweeting, snapping the whole game, and he kept calling him Pym. So I'm calling him Pym. That's his nickname. Pym's Cup.
I know Andrew. I met him at the Rams.
He came up and brought me and Ned down to the suite level that he was sitting in.
Ballin'.
And it was hilarious. He had a buddy who, during the first period of the game, while we were upstairs, vomited all over their seats on the ground. And then for the second and the third period that I watched the game from the suite level, he was asleep in the bathroom. He was blacked out, laying down in a bathroom stall.
Is this a dirt ball?
No. But then
because he sounds like a dirt ball.
Yeah, we found him after the game. Like
you sure it wasn't Branson Ping's like long lost twin brother?
We ran into him after the game, and of course he was the Rangers fan. He's in like a full Rangers jersey and hat.
Wait, so he slept in a bathroom the whole
He's
second
just like
and third period?
Blacked out.
Was he like some 20-year-old kid?
Yeah. They were all playing beer dice, whatever that is.
Don't you miss those days where you can just get so fucked up that you literally slept through?
You go to a professional hockey game, vomit in your seats.
Yeah.
Then go to the bathroom and just black out for 2 periods, and you stay in the bathroom for 2 periods of hockey. So this dude took a car yesterday to the pond in Anaheim to black out in the bathroom.
It's like that time I got so blacked out, I drove out to L.A. for that SC game I've talked about, where I'm so blacked out. It was when Mark Sanchez was playing. That, I passed out in my seats on the woman's shoulder next to me, basically. Woke up at halftime. The whole point of driving from Vegas to L.A. was to watch that game. Woke up at halftime, looked at my buddy, and basically said, "Where am I?" And he's like, "You're at a fucking football game, dude. Did you didn't hear 100,000 people cheering, you idiot? What's wrong with you?"
I like the white noise when I'm asleep.
But I'm guessing you got those tickets on SeatGeek. Jack got you those tickets on SeatGeek, right?
I think he did.
Guys, as you know, SeatGeek is the #1 spot to get your tickets for any live event. We're talking sports, concert, comedy show. They have it all. SeatGeek.
Monster Truck Rally.
Monster Truck Rally. I go to SeatGeek every night. I'm looking, maybe go see Billy Joel at Dodger Stadium. U2's coming out here.
Yep. I'm going to U2 at the Rose Bowl. Got my tickets on SeatGeek.
Of course you did, guys, because SeatGeek is the #1 spot, and they showed you exactly where you're sitting, which is always great, so you know before you even go to the venue. Best of all the Dirtballs get a $20 rebate off their first SeatGeek purchase. To get your $20 rebate on tickets, simply download the SeatGeek app, go to the settings tab, and click add a promo code.
Yeah.
I was thinking I had it down. There we go. And enter that promo code, which you guys know at this point is DIRTY, D-I-R-T-Y, and SeatGeek will send you $20 after you've made your first ticket purchase. So download the SeatGeek app and enter promo code DIRTY today. Okay, Joe Praino, you kind of alluded to it. There's something that we've talked about. I don't know if we've talked about it on air.
We talked about it.
We for sure that there was a great discussion on dirtysports.com probably maybe even a month ago, 3 weeks ago. This discussion, and it's coming even forward more now after Devin Booker scores 70 points Friday for the Suns in a losing game, and obviously Kentucky, how good they've been. The debate and the discussion that I want to do is, would an all-Kentucky NBA team, so all former Kentucky players, would they win the title? And it's an interesting discussion.
And let's before I give you my take, we'll give you some of the players. So here's what you got. You kind of made a little little roster. Starters: John Wall, point guard; Booker at shooting guard; DeMarcus Cousins in the middle; Anthony Davis at power forward; Karl Anthony Towns at the other forward; Julius Randle, maybe a 6-man. Then you got Eric Bledsoe, Brandon Knight, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Enes Kanter, Willie Cauley-Stein. I mean, that's 10 right there. 11. That's 11.
Real quick before Dirtballs go, Enes Kanter. I get Enes Kanter never played a game for Kentucky. He was initially supposed to go there, and there was issues, so then he went to the NBA.
Right.
But we're including him on the list because he was going to go there.
Sure, fine.
So that's about the 11.
Not that he makes a fucking difference.
No, exactly. And so my start, this is my list. My point guard would be John Wall, shooting guard Devin Booker, center Boogie Cousins, power forward Anthony Davis, and then the other power forward you either have Karl Anthony Towns or if you want to go a little smaller, Julius Randle. And then, obviously the backups, which you just said,
right.
Eric Bledsoe, Brandon Knight, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Enes Kanter, Willie Cauley-Stein. And that also gives you some more roster spots.
Yeah, not that any team in the NBA is ever going to their 11th man.
But still, you have like Rajon Rondo, Jody Meeks, Terrence Jones, Nerlens Noel, and Patrick Patterson.
Yep.
And that doesn't include, I have the full list in front of me of players. I don't know if there's anybody else that might interest you. Any of the Harrison brothers.
No.
They haven't done much. Anyway, so let's...
In fact, most of the deep bench doesn't matter to me because it's the NBA. You're playing 8, 9, maybe 9 guys. Probably not. Probably
okay.
8.
Again, I think this is a
they're
great
super
discussion.
Deep. They'd be one of the best teams in the NBA.
Super deep, super talented.
Would they be the NBA champs? I say no.
Okay.
And I say no for 2 reasons. One, when you look at the NBA playoffs, a great strategy if you're trying to decide who's going to win, who's got the best player on the floor? They win like 60% of the game. 60% of the time, the team with the best player on the floor wins. Oftentimes, the only way that you're competing with the best player on the floor is if you have the second and the third best player on the floor.
Yeah.
Anytime a team has the 2 best players on the floor, it's like 98% that they're going to win. You have the 2 best players. If this team goes up against the Golden State Warriors have the 2 best players on the floor. Maybe the 3 best, but definitely the 2 best. I mean,
okay,
Steph Curry and Kevin Durant are better than anybody on this team.
But I think this is interesting. I'm not going to disagree with Durant, but I'd like to talk about Steph.
Okay.
All-around game, is Steph better than Anthony Davis?
Yes. But Anthony Davis is, his 3rd year in the league?
Yeah.
Like, he's on his way to being an NBA great player. I'm just saying right now.
Because
And then also you're talking about depth. Oh, let's remind everybody of one thing, too. The Golden State Warriors didn't win the finals, didn't win the championship last year. Obviously, They didn't have Kevin Durant, but they also set a record for wins in a season, and they're not as good this year. But they're not going for the record again. They're going for a championship. The bottom line is the 2 teams that made the finals. I still don't know. LeBron James is the best player on this team by far. It's like, does this team beat the Cavs? Maybe. Does this team beat the Warriors? No.
But see, I find that interesting that you say you're quick to say that they would beat the Cavs. Maybe, but not the Warriors.
Right.
I mean, but let's just go position by position because I think this is what's interesting. So you have point guard John Wall.
Yeah, versus Steph Curry.
Obviously, edge Steph Curry.
Now let's go shooting guard. Shooting guard Devin Booker, Clay. Hands down.
Okay.
Small forward, we're talking, I don't know, who's a small forward? Durant?
Versus Anthony Davis?
Yeah. I mean, Durant. That's the closest, but you're still going Durant. Durant's the best player on the court.
I just think that Anthony Davis defensively.
What about Kevin Durant defensively? He leads the Warriors in blocks. He's 6'11".
He's 7 foot, but I mean, I get it, but Anthony Davis, I don't know, man. He's also getting a ton of assists, like he's getting triple doubles. Okay, so we've broken it down there. Center, obviously.
Yeah, you're going to
all Kentucky.
Yeah.
Boogie Cousins. And then your last guy is going to be either, like I said, Karl Anthony Towns, if you want to continue to go big, or a Julius Randle guy who can handle the ball.
Versus
more.
Draymond Green. Pretty good all-around player. Fits in perfectly with the Warriors.
Sure.
Now, 2 years from now, is Karl Anthony Towns better than Draymond Green? Yes. Is he better than him right now? I don't know. So now you're talking about 4 out of the 5 starting positions. You go edge Warriors?
Okay. But then let's go to the bench. I think all Kentucky wins it hands down.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
I mean, sure. You know, you've got guys like, is Michael Kidd-Gilchrist better than, Sean Livingston?
Yeah.
I don't know. But the point is.
But you'd be bringing in a guy like Eric Bledsoe.
Sure.
I mean, even in Enes Kanter, Willie Cauley-Stein.
They would be able to compete because of their depth.
Yeah. Okay, let's take the Cavs then.
But again, so here's the thing. On paper, this team's better than the Cavs. But you got LeBron James. You can't put LeBron James on paper. LeBron James, you put him on paper, the paper catches fire and turns into a goat because he's the greatest of all time. Like, I don't know who's going to win I don't know if the Cavs are going to be the number 1 seed in the East. I don't know if I would take the Cavs or the Warriors in the finals right now, though, just because LeBron James can do LeBron James things. But also you got Kyrie Irving, great player, Love, great player.
But that's what I'm saying. Let's just match it up for discussion's sake. So point guard, you have Kyrie versus John Wall.
It's pretty close.
I'm going to go Kyrie.
Okay.
But I agree. I mean, obviously John Wall is what we would call a traditional point guard, who's going to give you the assist and, facilitate. Okay.
And Kyrie's more of a scorer, but he doesn't have to be that guy because they have LeBron James.
Exactly. So shooting guard, you got the young Devin Booker.
Yeah.
J.R. Smith when he's healthy. Who are you giving that to?
I mean, I'm going to give it to the Kentucky team, whether it's Booker or, again, you can play Eric Bledsoe at the shooting guard in your starting lineup if you want it. I think both of those guys are better and more consistent than a J.R. Smith.
Okay, and I agree. Center, again.
I don't even know who the Cavs play at center. Is that Tristan Thompson? Is that who they would consider their center?
Yeah, it'd be Tristan Thompson. So you're going to give the edge to all Kentucky there.
Yep.
Power forward.
That's going to be... For the Cavs, that's going to be who is that going to be for the Cavs? Love. That would be Love.
That's what I'm saying. It'd be Kevin Love.
So
Kevin Love versus Anthony Davis.
Yeah, that's Anthony Davis. Yeah.
And then
it doesn't really matter what other position we have left over. It's LeBron James, and it's LeBron James.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, it'd be pretty close. Way more depth on this team, though, right? Way more depth.
So off the bench, but the Cavs have really positioned themselves with good depth now.
Yeah.
With Kyle Korver.
Nice piece off the bench.
Darren Williams.
Yeah. Mediocre piece off the bench.
What about Channing Frye?
Yeah. These are guys.
But these are guys who can hit threes.
Sure.
Frye and
exactly.
what's his name?
Frye is a guy who exists.
And Richard Jefferson.
Yeah. Those guys exist because of LeBron James.
Okay.
At this point. Like Channing Frye was, a nice little player, but he could potentially be out of the league if he didn't show up on the Cavs, and he just catches perfect passes in shooting motion.
So you're going to give this hands down, like head to head. Okay, let's just go one. Let's just take another step. 7-game series.
Yeah.
Or actually, would this go 7 games with the Cavs? Would this go 7 games with the Warriors?
No, it would not go 7 games with the Warriors. I think the Warriors are a better team. This team presents problems for the Cavaliers because of depth, but in the end, I think Cavs win. Maybe it's a 7-game series. Maybe it's not. I don't think anybody – it's just too young a team. It's too young a team to compete with LeBron James.
What about the size? I mean, obviously, the All-Kentucky team has the depth. I mean, what about dude, you could potentially start Boogie Cousins, Anthony Davis, and Karl Anthony Towns.
Right.
Is that going to present a problem for the Warriors? Your boy Poop Sock is all about that size.
Yeah, and Poop Sock, Poop Sock is a legend of the dirty sports, but it has nothing to do with his sports knowledge whatsoever. It has to do with that he shits in socks and throws them into McDonald's, and he got a Buffalo Bills tattoo on his ass. A Buffalo Bills world champion tattoo on his ass, which should say everything you need to know about his sports knowledge. and by the way, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, it's only such a big tattoo because he had to have the artist cover up the Memphis Grizzlies 2014-2015 NBA champions tattoo that he had put on his ass when you can't match up with Zach Randolph and fucking Marc Gasol. In the NBA now, going that big, no one does it.
It's all small ball. Threes.
Yeah. It's all small ball. It's all threes.
Fast breaks.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a nice little team, though. Might be the third best team in the NBA.
You know there's some sort of dork right now who's listening, Pedotti, and who's like, well, actually, they did a simulation of this on NBA 2K, and the All-Kentucky team scored 112 points, and the Warriors scored 115.
But when you look at this team, Boogie, Anthony Davis, Karl Anthony Towns, Julius Randle's kind of unknown at this point. Devin Booker, who's obviously, he's 20, I think.
Yeah.
John Wall, still young. 3 years from now, you might say this team will beat everybody in a landslide.
Sure.
But right now, are they the best team in the NBA? No. Are they the second best team in the NBA? No, they're not.
I think they have an argument for possibly the second best team.
You think they beat the Cavs?
I think they possibly could.
It's just the LeBron James factor. That's the thing. I can't say confidently the Warriors beat the Cavs this year.
But I was just going to say, I couldn't say confidently that the Warriors beat this Kentucky team. I would love to see this. Obviously, we'll never see this.
Right.
I would love to see this all-Kentucky team. I mean, I don't know another time in basketball where you had this many caliber quality
what it was.
from one school.
About 5-6 years ago, you could have made the same argument for guys coming out of high school. All the guys that went straight to the league. You would have had the Kobe, the Garnetts, LeBron James. You have. There was a time when the guys straight out of high school would have been the best team in basketball.
It's an interesting discussion, though.
Yeah.
And again, if there is a simulation, that means nothing for the record. I'm so sick of these simulations.
Right.
It's like they do these simulations every week before the NFL games. I'm like, no, if these simulations were actually factual, then gambling wouldn't exist.
Right.
Because everybody would just follow the simulation.
Soon it'll all be simulation, Andy. We'll all be living in one big virtual reality. It's like the Matrix.
You know, that's about the only sex I've been getting lately is simulation.
Are we sliding really easily here into an ad for our new sponsor, Pornhub?
No. But they should sponsor us. I was actually thinking
I was just going to let you go there. You're like, they should sponsor us. And then you started thinking about porn.
Well, no, I'm thinking about people who would be good sponsors. I was listening to, Pandora, and they were doing Adam and Eve on Pandora.
I don't know what Adam and Eve is.
It's like they sell like porn stuff. Like
okay.
Porn, like DVD. First of all, who's buying DVDs?
Yeah.
Like it's 2017. If you're buying DVDs, fix your life. But I think they'd be a good sponsor, even though I just dissed their entire fucking. Anyway, let's move on.
Miller Lite, that's who should be our sponsor.
You keep saying that. Let's talk about Devin Booker for a minute. What do you make of his 70 points?
Incredible. I mean, he scored 70 points. He only hit 4 threes.
Yeah. 21 of 40 through the field, 24 of 26 from the free throw line. They still lost.
Yeah. But they're the youngest team in the NBA by like 4 years or something like that. They're super young. He's only 20.
But I feel like if this was Kobe, you'd be like, fuck him.
Yeah. You know why? Because Kobe's never shot 50% from the field in any NBA game in history, let alone one where he scored 70 points. He was 21 for 40. Kobe shot 60 times to get 50 points in his final game.
Never forget, we're coming up on the year anniversary of you doing the Kobe Bryant shot challenge.
I'm well aware. My body's barely recovered.
You know the
I told Tug about that the other day. He was like, oh, how have I not heard this before?
You know, there's still some leftover Fireball in my freezer a year later. Can you get rid of it? I don't drink.
Let's bring it back. Let's do a new shot challenge. I'm gonna do the Noah Syndergaard 100-mile-an-hour challenge, like my buddies on Put It in the Podcast did. Every time Noah Syndergaard hits 100 miles an hour on the radar gun in a game, I'll take a shot of Fireball.
Yeah, get rid of it. Why is it in my fridge?
Well, I certainly didn't want to look at Fireball for 2 months after that.
Yeah. You just tempt me every day, Joe.
If you're tempted to drink Fireball.
Every day at lunch, I'm ready to break my sobriety, and I and I'm making a sandwich, and I look at that Fireball, and I just think, man.
I'm making myself a sandwich, and I'm like, it'd be great to wash down this sandwich. Cinnamon whiskey.
Wouldn't that be great if I just fell off and that was the reason?
I would just love to know somebody who drinks Fireball as like their beverage of choice. Like, yeah, just Fireball on the rocks.
Isn't it made with antifreeze?
I don't.
No, that came out a few years ago. Like the same ingredients that are in antifreeze. Is it anti or anti?
I mean, I guess you could say whichever you want, Andy. This is the least of your fuck ups.
What?
You say Jaguars. Like, let's start with words that there are proper pronunciations for before you decide which of the two acceptable pronunciations.
That's just me being from Ohio. We all say Jaguars. All right, Praino. Let's move along. Let's move the show along. Now, this resting players has gotten to the point where David Silver is getting involved.
Mm-hmm.
Sent a memo to all the owners. You and I have already talked about it, so we're not going to go too in depth.
Yep.
As far as NBA teams resting their players, Popovich has had some great quotes, as he always does. On the matter, how it's tricky. He compared it. His quote was he compared it to the American healthcare system. That it's not like a, one giant solution fix all.
Yeah. I saw somebody bring up a point on dirtysports.com the other day who said it should be like vacation days for people with regular offs. Like, you get X amount of vacation days, and then after you go over that many vacation days, you're penalized or whatever. But my response was, even now in corporate America, a lot of people are going with sort of the Popovich system. They're going with unlimited vacation, and you just kind of do, as long as you get your work done, you take off as many days as you want, because everything, you don't have to be sitting in an office these days to basically do anything. You can do anything from anywhere. So it's that thing is like, only push yourself as far as you need to push yourself to achieve the goal. And the goal is the NBA championship.
Yeah.
The Spurs, the other thing is people keep coming at the Spurs and the Cavs, and why don't you go at the fucking Knicks and the Suns and the Bucks and whatever? The Spurs and the Cavs.
No one gives a shit about watching those players.
I know, but I'm saying they're winning all their games. Do you know what I mean? The Spurs and the Cavs, we're talking about top 2 seeds in every division. Like, you can't tell me that you have a problem with how they're doing it when they're the ones that are successful. Maybe other teams should be resting their players more.
Look, I've said my point. I think we're all pussies now and resting guys as pussies. But like I said, things change. Remember my analogy was I'm a pussy too. Like, I don't work as hard as my dad did.
Right.
Your dad came from Italy, like made himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, we both know we're not, like, the whole point of somebody, they always used to use the analogy, if you want to do better than your parents. To be honest, that's kind of changed in a way.
For sure.
Because people have achieved things. So, and I think that falls into place here with the sport.
But again, it's also this long-term.
Exactly.
There's long-term goals here.
Exactly.
Not only the championship, but the Cleveland Cavaliers are only going to be a great team in the NBA for as long as LeBron James is there.
Sure.
So if you can be critical of LeBron James and be like, oh, pussy, I would never take a day off. Cool. And you'd play 11 seasons in the NBA. LeBron James is going to play 25. He's going to go down as having the most points, rebounds, assists, everything ever. And it's because he's gotten to the point where he's taking games off. Kobe Bryant would never sit out. Cool. Kobe Bryant ripped his Achilles and walked away from basketball. A joke. So what the fuck are we talking about here?
How dare you say that, Joe, with us being a couple miles from the Staples Center?
I'm just saying, Kobe Bryant hit a wall. Some of these guys hit a wall. And the same thing we talked about when we did the Montana Brady thing. It's like, it's a different thing. Like, Joe Montana played as long as he could without living with brain failure the rest of his life, without stumbling around. We saw Jim McMahon sleeping in a fucking sleeping bag under the tent on the way here.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was Jim McMahon.
Yeah, but
to his credit, he was sleeping under the tent. But I could notice he was still doing the Super Bowl shuffle.
Oh, arrested. he was just kind of shaking. Arrested.
That's his shuffle.
Parkinson's. Arrested LeBron James helps the Cavs win a championship this year. Arrested LeBron James helps the Cavs keep LeBron James longer. The NBA's worried about people not showing up to games. How about people not showing up to Cavs games ever again when LeBron James retires?
How about we just do a discount? Seriously, why don't why don't they do this? It sounds crazy, but these teams make millions of dollars. If they announce that LeBron James and Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving are not playing tonight, and let's say you're in Phoenix for the Suns Cavs, why doesn't that Suns owner say, okay, everybody gets vouchers for free food or something?
Well, guess what, Andy? That's already in place. When LeBron James is in wherever and he's not playing, you go to SeatGeek, where the market is constantly shifting, and suddenly the tickets are cheaper. And you get a $20 rebate when you use promo code DIRTY. Boom. You just basically got free basketball.
And that's how we integrate our sponsors into our show. Write that shit down, fam.
That's right.
It's a good point, though.
Right, the third market.
It is true.
The third market of tickets now, or the secondary market, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a stock exchange. It goes up and down depending on how teams are playing. I mean, the Knicks were here playing the Clippers the other day, and tickets were pretty expensive. Then it was Knicks Lakers. Tickets were fucking cheap. No one gives a shit. Who wants to see Knicks Clippers basketball? I also checked it because Cavs Clippers tickets were like hundreds of dollars. Knicks Clippers tickets were like half that.
But what about the national TV thing? Because I want to bring that into the equation, because that is a problem. Those schedules are made way in advance. It was like that one a few weeks ago that everybody was laughing at when there was the injuries, and we talked about it on our show, and then also they sat everybody.
Well, we're gonna go full circle here. The quality of basketball, Cavs, Clippers, with everybody sitting out, still higher quality than March Madness, which everybody's fucking jizzing in their pants over right now. So relax.
Well, of course, Joe. This does go full circle. It goes back to my point. No shit, NBA players are better than college players.
My point is, you're like, what people are like now devastated. Like, I sat down to watch this.
I have a solution. I have
Clippers game, and LeBron James is not playing. Now what am I supposed to do with my night? I don't know. Put on Netflix, bro.
I just thought of the best solution, and this incorporates both everything you and I have talked about. Bad basketball meets good basketball. Listen to this. LeBron James is sitting, Kyrie's sitting, Kevin Love's sitting, whatever they do. The NBA technically owns the WNBA. What if they put in their spot WNBA players? Because everybody wants to watch that train wreck.
Yeah.
So imagine if the Cavs had to play with 3 WNBA players, you'd watch that. If I knew 3 WNBA players had to go up against, let's say, the Spurs, I'd watch that. I would want to see those girls get their shit swatted play after play.
I mean, the Cavs are kind of giving up on the game anyway.
That's what I'm saying.
They should just play.
Just play WNBA players.
Or they should be signing guys off the street to just like one-day contracts. Like, you should play for the Cavs when Kyrie sits out.
You know that? Remember that radio guy from Cleveland, the homeless guy?
Oh, yeah.
Sign him. If you and I were commissioner, we'd have so many more creative ideas for these leagues.
The answer is, though, like it's an opportunity. They're giving other guys minutes, and they're getting other guys ready for the playoffs who maybe don't play as much. Or they're getting game experience. Look, it's a loophole in the rules, and there are teams who want to win every single game. Look at the Warriors last year. They played every single regular season game like it was the biggest thing they could. They didn't win a championship, and now everybody's you're the one telling me that their whole season means nothing. You said their season means nothing, so of course, in retrospect, if their season means nothing, I disagree. But their season means nothing if they don't win the championship. Then you got to do what you got to do to win a championship. If that means resting players, so be it. Oh, you're an away team, and you were hoping to see LeBron James. Well, get your own good players.
I mean, it does suck for the family, let's be honest. But to me, another solution, too, why is no one talking about this? When you see, the comment section, I dropped $400 on seats for me and my wife and my 2 kids, blah, blah, blah.
Seems like a reckless purchase, and maybe you should have somebody that's signing off on your athletic ticket buying experience.
Well, there's that, but also, fuck you owners. Yeah. How about not making a fucking thing of popcorn $30,
right.
a fucking 20-ounce beer $15.
That's why my advice remains: never buy anything until the day of, and buy it on SeatGeek.
Yeah, it's a good point.
You'll know exactly what's happening.
All right, Praino.
You could be like, I don't like going to basketball games when it's over 74 degrees. All right, wait till the last minute. See what the temperature is. Then go to SeatGeek. Use promo code DIRTY.
Man, all these plugs. Is SeatGeek going to give us a few extra bucks for all these free plugs?
I mean, do I have a secret contract with SeatGeek to get extra plugs in and they pay me directly?
Are they paying you at the DL behind my back?
Miller Lite wouldn't sponsor me, so I had to go to SeatGeek. I was like, double down.
SeatGeek, if you're listening, I want to go to the Final Four this week.
I had all this. I had it all set up. If Xavier got there, they were giving you tickets, but they choked. You're out.
It's all Walt Ruther's fault. It's what he gets. Let's talk the big football news today. I'm excited. You're excited. And yo, fool, Raider Nation's excited, fool. The Raiders are officially headed to Sin City. This is amazing. We've wanted it to happen. I've said I will go to at least one game a year to be surrounded by all those fucking banditos. Is that a word? Did they call themselves banditos?
I mean, I don't think they call themselves banditos anymore, but it is a word.
What does that mean? Is that Spanish for what?
Well, a bandit.
Okay. I didn't know if I was just making up Spanglish.
No, banditos like back in the day with the bandoleros of bullets.
The originals.
Yeah.
The OGs.
Yeah, the OG yo fools. Like, yo fool, I have a bandolero on.
Yo, man, you see that Raiders game? Yo, what are the Raiders? I know. They haven't come out yet. That made no sense. I was thinking of he saw the future of the Raiders games.
Yeah.
Anyway, Praino, what do we make of all this now that it's actually happening?
I am a fan of the Oakland Raiders because they have great fans up there. Like the Raiders and Oakland go together, but look, I mean, every fucking city has gotten rid of the multi-purpose stadium built in the 70s. Shea got blown up. Riverfront got blown up. Three Rivers got blown up.
Vet.
Candlestick, the Vet. It's like, hey, Oakland, if you're going to live in the 70s, you don't get a football team. We're taking your football team. Honestly, the A's, the idea that the A's don't have a baseball stadium themselves is absurd too.
Well, before we jump into it, I don't know if you know this, what they're going to do for the new Vegas stadium to give a shout out to the old stadium, they're actually going to have half the football season they're going to have a mound, a pitcher's mound full of dirt.
Yeah.
To, salute the former stadium.
I've also heard that their slogan is what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, especially if you come to root for another team. You're staying in a hole in the desert. So we're going to stab you, fool.
Yo, fool. But what about the owners having responsibility? Like, these guys are worth a shit ton of money. What about Mark Davis saying, dude, you want a new stadium? Foot the fucking bill. Because let's be honest, all these stadium deals, 99% of them, in fact, I think all of them, take advantage for the most part, actually not here in LA, but they take advantage of the taxpayer.
Yep.
And they just want to raise taxes. They just want to fuck the actual fans.
So the problem is, I mean, what is Mark Davis? Mark Davis is some sort of hero. He's going to be like, you know what? I know every team gets a new stadium built by their city, and if they don't, they go and find a city that'll build them their stadium. But not me. I'm going to spend my own money and keep it in Oakland. It's like
he has the money, Joe. We've seen his haircuts.
Yeah, that would say he doesn't have the money.
No,
it seems like he cuts his own hair.
My point is he saved enough money over the years by getting that same bowl cut. He should have enough money alone off haircut savings.
You go to Supercuts. You got enough to build a stadium for the Raiders?
In fact, I need a Supercut. I need it cut right now.
It would just be a poor business decision when every city builds a stadium for people to build your own stadium.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like it wouldn't be incredible for an owner to do that. I go, you know what? We're not relocating. I'm fucking building it. You'd be a badass. You would legitimately be a hero, but it would be a reckless business decision to build your own stadium. When you know you can get a stadium built for you by a city that wants you to come.
Anyone who thinks that the Raiders are not going to be supported, one, you're stupid. I'll say that much. Because I was reading the comments section.
Yeah.
Underneath all the headlines. Because I don't know why I do it. I always look at the comment section. Do you?
No.
Because I'm always curious to see what the idiots out there on the internet say. A lot of people are like, oh, have fun in a transient city. Have fun. Well, look, as someone who lived in Vegas for 2 years, they'll be supported. Not to mention, I just was in Vegas 2 weeks ago. You can ask Matty Goldberg this. The amount of cars from the drive to L.A. to Vegas that we saw with Raiders stickers, dude, Mexicans in L.A. don't even realize the Raiders aren't here anymore.
What percentage of Raiders fans in Oakland do you think are coming up from L.A. or just Central California? I mean, I bet you there's a caravan of banditos that go from the Inland Empire every Sunday to Oakland.
Yeah.
Of course they're going to go to Vegas.
And it's only – people don't realize L.A. to Vegas is only 275 miles.
Yeah.
It's not even 300 miles. I mean, people don't give a shit about the biggest mistake was, we'd agree, the Raiders should have came here. I mean, they had the fan base here.
I like the idea of the Vegas Raiders.
I do too.
Black and silver.
I do too.
I think it's going to be
Sin
great.
City.
Yeah. The Giants play at Oakland this year. I wish it was at Vegas.
Yeah. I think it's just so crazy how quickly things have changed.
Now you lived in Vegas.
That's what I was going to get to.
You love Vegas. Are you already abandoning the Rams and becoming a Vegas Raiders fan? I mean, we obviously both root for the Raiders. I'm a Derek Carr fanboy.
We've rooted for the Raiders. No, even before you
Yeah.
and I have been on the Raiders train. If you go back to episode 1 of this podcast, we've been doing Yo Fool literally since the first episode. We rooted for the Raiders last year. Both you and I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'm going to go all in. I will say I'm going to buy that new Yo Fool shirt that we got up on our website. There's a plug right there, bitches.
DirtySports.com for Yo Fool shirts.
We're selling Yo Fool shirts with the Raiders logo.
It's not the Raiders logo. If anybody in trademark law,
it's not officially. it's adjusted.
It is adjusted. It's a little more Mexican.
Yeah, which is Yo Fool.
Yeah,
and we're also going to sell Vegas baby ones with Dice.
I like it with Andrew Dice Clay.
That would be even cooler.
Yeah.
No, but here's my thought. I seriously, no lie, want to go to a game once a year. I think the atmosphere. People just keep saying, "Oh, Vegas. Vegas is a transient city." You know what else is a transient city? L.A.
Well, I was just down in Anaheim yesterday, and I was talking to Andrew about it. It was easily 40% Rangers fans.
I'm sure.
He said when the Blackhawks come, it's a Blackhawks home game.
Yeah.
He said when the Kings come, it's a home game for them. But there's good Ducks fans. There's plenty of them there. When the Ducks play the, Columbus Blue Jackets or whatever, I'm sure it's full of Ducks fans. But when teams come from major cities, they sell people in Vegas. Not only is it a transient city, but it's Mikey and I almost every year pick an away game to go see the Giants. You're gonna pick if you do that for your team, you're gonna pick Vegas every year. You're gonna be like, of course we're going to Vegas.
Every single game is going to be sold out.
Yeah.
Like, not even a question.
Well, also, every single NFL game is always sold out. So, what the fuck?
For the most part.
Yeah. Unless you're the Jaguars.
Or the
attendance isn't a problem.
Or the Bengals. No, I don't think it's going to be an issue. And not to mention, this is a town that continues to grow. More and more people are coming into the town every year. That's literally that's a census fact.
Because they can just keep spreading it into the desert.
Yeah, because there's so much fucking room. Now, it's just crazy for me to think. So I lived in Vegas.
They'll build a stadium. They'll build a whole fucking area around the stadium. There'll be a casino attached to the stadium. It'll be the new hot part of town.
Yeah. Now, when I lived in Vegas from summer 05 to summer 07, none of this was even thought of. Like, this is what's insane. When I lived there, this is how much things have changed in the last fucking 10 to 12 years.
When I lived there in 05, buffets cost 99 cents, and you could eat a steak. You went down to the Golden Nugget, played the craps, and you could eat for days.
You go down to Fremont Street over there, and a hooker would rim your ass for a mere nickel. Now it's going to cost you $2.57, see?
There wasn't all those digital slot machines, too. I don't trust those. There's the old school ones with bells and whistles.
When I was a youngster, you didn't
You
even
had to pull the handle. You couldn't just push the button.
You didn't even have to worry about HIV. You could just raw dog hookers from here to L.A. It was amazing. Then Magic Johnson got HIV and ruined it all. Okay. So when I was there, 05 to 07, do you know what the thought was for the first professional teams? One was the Marlins. This is how crazy it was. Remember, the Marlins didn't have a stadium.
Yep.
There was a huge consensus that they're going to build, an enclosed stadium, and the Marlins are going to come. And also the Kings. I don't know if you remember. Because
and now Vegas is getting a hockey team.
I know.
They're going to have a hockey team before they'll have the Raiders.
But my point is, how crazy is it that the two sports that Vegas was thought to get first were going to be baseball and basketball, and it's neither, and they're going to get hockey and football. Yo, fool, how the times have changed, bro.
Let's give Vegas a basketball team while we're at it.
I think they would support it.
Yeah. Indoors, air-conditioned.
Make Larry Johnson the GM with his gold tooth, but he has to dress his grandmama.
Make Greg Anthony the head coach, little Republican, in that crazy shirt he was wearing when he fought the Phoenix Suns by himself on the bench.
That's great. Yeah. Well, I think it's exciting news because it's also exciting news for the gambling world.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's been gearing this, it's been trending upwards, so to speak, for a while now. Remember all these leagues, they'll never have a team there because of legalized gambling. And I think finally now, first the NHL, now the NFL has just basically said we have to fully embrace gambling because it is a huge part of our league.
And also, just in the modern day, you don't have to worry. Like, if it were the 70s and the Raiders were in Vegas, every game the players would be, like, they would be throwing games.
Yeah.
They would just be, like, old-style gangsters. Like
Ken Stabler.
Yeah, exactly. They'd just be throwing games. But now, I mean, obviously the government's listening to everything we say. Like, you can't be, like, having thrown NFL football games. Like, I don't think you have to worry about how gambling would affect the actual game.
Well, not to
anymore.
mention they're making way more.
Yeah.
But, guys, we're talking gambling. You have Raiders moving to Vegas, and you also have March Madness going on. And, Praino, I'm winning some money. I'm not doing good at my picks, but I'm covering some spreads. I bet straight up Xavier to beat Arizona. That was my money line pick of the week. And guess where I'm doing that at? mybookie.ag. The number one spot for gambling on all tournament games, on all upcoming baseball games, NBA playoffs. The turnaround time to get your money back is quick, it's easy, and it's efficient. And best of all, if you join MyBookie, they will match your first deposit with a 50% bonus. So that's right, Dirtballs. If you join with $100, you'll get $50 bankroll to play with. So they'll give you $150 total. Use promo code DIRTY to activate that offer. Visit MyBookie today or call 844-900-BETS. I would love to know the guy who's calling this in, by the way. That'd be amazing. People who don't use the online site. Play, win, and get paid. That's mybookie.ag.
And if there was a time to sign up for MyBookie, if you haven't yet, it is right now because if there's one thing of my gambling picks that I am confident in, it's game-by-game picks in the NBA playoffs. I have an NBA playoff betting system. You pick one team, then you go back and you pick the other team. It's always back and forth in these series, especially where the spreads are involved. Get your money on MyBookie right now so that you can join in on Joe Praino's surefire winning NBA playoff betting system.
MyBookie.ag. I'm going to assume this weekend Joe Praino is going to put all his money on North Carolina.
I probably am.
So, Tony Romo, I want to talk about for a minute. At this point, I would have thought he was with the team, wouldn't you? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
We're almost into April.
I thought the second Osweiler left the Texans,
I agree.
He was getting signed.
I agree. The latest report that I read today, I think it was Ian Rappaport. He's like the hot take guy.
Yeah.
They said
Rap sheet.
Yeah. It's down to either the Texans or retirement because they're reporting that, and this surprises me, the Broncos don't have any interest in him.
That is surprising.
Or what, are you going to just stick with Trevor Siemian?
Yeah. Well, how about the team I just bring up anytime we talk about quarterbacks? What about the Minnesota Vikings? What are the Vikings doing for a quarterback? What is any team like? What are half the teams doing for a quarterback? I mean, who's quarterbacking the Niners? They signed Brian Hoyer.
And Blaine Gabbert?
Yeah. What about the Arizona Cardinals? Why isn't Tony Romo starting for the Cardinals this year?
Well, he wouldn't start ahead of Carson Palmer.
Of course he would.
No, he wouldn't.
Are you on drugs?
I wish.
Tony Romo is a better quarterback than Carson Palmer.
I don't know if I'd agree with that. Uh-oh, it looks like we have another discussion.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, let's look at their history.
Yeah.
what does Romo have? 2 playoff wins? Palmer has what, 1? Stats-wise, very, very, very comparable. I don't have it in front of me. As far as yards, touchdowns, I'm going to assume it's comparable. They both have had some really bad injuries. Palmer has a better arm. Romo is more mobile.
Again, Tony Romo.
What are we arguing here? Then hold on. Then what's the discussion? Why is he that much better than Palmer?
What did I tell you about? Do you remember the big Praino-Stradamus moment a few years ago? Carson Palmer
chokes under pressure.
Chokes. Tony Romo has some choke moments, but he's not a choker. He's Did we lose it? What do you got?
Oh yeah, Will's hopping in here. Yeah, against Seattle when he dropped the ball.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's his big choke moment. Is the drop extra point? That's his big choke moment. He also threw a killer interception against the Giants, but Tony Romo's problem is Tony Romo gets hurt and plays a reckless style of football. But Carson Palmer threw it. If it weren't for drops, he would have thrown 8 interceptions in a playoff game. That's the biggest fail in recent quarterbacking history.
Okay, well I'm pulling up their stats right now. Overall, career-wise, I know we're not going to base it all on stats. I can't even talk now. Overall,
yeah, Carson Palmer's been in the league 13 years.
They've been in the league about the same amount of years. The same exact amount of years, except Romo sat the first 2 years.
Right.
All right. So Romo has 34,000 career passing yards. Palmer has 44,000. Touchdowns. Palmer has 285. Romo has 248. I guarantee interceptions. Romo 117. Palmer a lot more, 180. I think it would even out. You given 2 years. So I was right. Their stats are very comparable. Now let's go to playoffs.
Look, I'm not a huge Tony Romo fan. I'm taking Tony Romo over Carson Palmer. No doubt about it.
But I don't know if I am, though. That's what I'm saying. I mean, if you look at the playoffs, Palmer's 1-3 career playoffs. Nothing special, right?
Mm-hmm.
Romo career playoffs is 2-4. But that's my point. Like they're completely comparable. You think Palmer is more of the complete and utter meltdown?
Yes. I don't know. Has Tony Romo thrown 5 interceptions in a game? I mean, Carson Palmer threw 5 interceptions in like a huge playoff game.
Yeah. I mean, playoff-wise, Romo definitely has the better numbers. 8 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. Palmer's playoffs are not good.
Listen,
4 touchdowns to 6 interceptions.
Right. Listen, I don't want Tony Romo as the quarterback of the Giants, but if I'm the Cardinals, he's an upgrade. I think the Cardinals have a ceiling with Carson Palmer at quarterback. Well, the Cardinals, the Vikings. I mean, there's tons of teams that Tony Romo improves, but the big question is, what the fuck is Houston doing? They just got sent a gift in the fucking mail.
Yeah.
That somebody took Brock Osweiler off their books. Wasn't that solely so that you could sign Tony Romo?
Yeah. I'm confused. And from what I've read,
and again, the Broncos.
From what I've read, also too, is that Romo also only wants to go to the Texans, which I get. He's old. He doesn't want to get injured. What are you waiting on? Because have you seen? They said both Fox and CBS are just lining up to throw millions at him as an analyst.
Yeah, Fox will have him do football and golf.
Yeah.
Like he's a huge golf guy. He'll also be announcing the World Championships of Hide and Go Seek because, he played that at his bachelor party.
Is that the most disappointing thing about Romo's life?
His bachelor party was a bunch of dudes living in a cabin playing hide and go seek. Yeah, I mean, that's the most disappointing thing of anybody's life ever. You're a millionaire quarterback in the NFL. You're marrying like a hot fucking
former Miss Missouri.
Yeah. And you and your boys are going to play hide and seek? What are you seeking? Your dicks?
I think there was just gay sex happening nonstop. The translation for hide and seek means there's lots of dudes banging each other.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I see.
We snuck around in the woods, and then when the guy would find you, you guys would just fuck. I can't believe you're behind this tree. Yeah, take your pants off.
You know what? We should create an adult hide and seek. That'd be fun, right?
Yeah.
Except
Tony Romo's gonna be the commish.
It doesn't have to be all dudes, though.
Right.
I would make that exception to the rule. Was that like a leaked report? that they did that?
No, it wasn't even a leaked report. They were like, "What? Did you guys get all fucked up in your bachelor party?" He's like, "Actually, it was just a bunch of us in this cabin and played a lot of hide and go seek."
You know, if you don't go to strip clubs in your bachelor
Hide and go seek, that might even be just like a euphemism for gay fucking. Like, he's like, "Oh yeah," and then my buddy hit his dick.
Yeah. Jason Witten was catching lots of balls that weekend, if you know what I mean. They played. Where did they play hide and seek at, though? I want to know. I want to know about.
He was
this.
literally. I think he was in like a cabin in like Virginia or something like that, or Missouri. Who knows? Where is he? He's from Missouri.
Dude, this sounds like Brokeback Mountain too.
I mean, we have a computer in front of us. You can Google it.
I mean, but this sounds like literally like the Tony Romo version of Brokeback Mountain.
I mean, now we need the quote.
You're gonna look up the quote of why or of his hide and seek.
Yeah, because it was his quote.
So I'm being a fucking intern, guys. I mean, I say this all the time. You know, Joe and I shouldn't have to be doing this. You know,
this is why we need an intern. So you can come, you can Google things like this, and then Andy can ruin your life for months at a time by calling you. Is it gonna be going? Fuck you, Scabelli.
You know, Schabelli. I fuck with. Is Schabelli still our intern officially?
I don't know. I feel like Schabelli doesn't want to be our intern anymore. I want Schabelli to be our intern whenever he's home.
I do too, but I think he's scared.
Tony Romo played hide and seek at his bachelor party. This is from Yahoo Sports. Come on, open. Here we go. 14 guys at a bachelor party with no beer.
Wait, no alcohol either? Shut up.
Where's the quote on what exactly happened? Surely he spent his party living it up. Oh, well, God, I hate these when they just give you. I don't want to watch the video of him telling me. Whatever.
Anyway,
moving on.
We get it. We know what really happened.
Yeah. He said he didn't feel like going out and drinking. So him and his crew just played hide and go seek.
Yeah, this really changes my opinion of Romo. By far, you know what?
Romo, here we go. Romo and his friends spent his bachelor party at a cabin in West Virginia and spent the night playing the quarterback's version of hide and seek. And obviously, Tony won both times. He told us, "We played twice. I won both times. I got to tell them all I was smarter than them. That was just part of the process. I didn't come up with the game, so I did come up with the game. So I probably had a pretty good idea leading up to the game that I had a chance." So he has his own Tony Romo hide and go seek league
with dudes in West Virginia.
He didn't feel like going out and drinking the night of his bachelor party. Instead, he and his buddy played.
Where's this? What year is this article? This alone,
2011.
He'll never win a Super Bowl ever because of this.
Right.
Like this alone says enough about a guy that he played. First of all, let's obviously we're making gay jokes, but let's take that out of it.
Yeah.
What grown men play hide and seek?
Right. Like if you had a bachelor party and you hid like 11 strippers on your ranch, and you're like, find a hooker, fuck a hooker.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Like if you're in Tijuana and you're like, okay, guys, we did something fun. We just murdered a hooker and we hit her body. Whoever finds it gets to fuck her dead body. It's still warm.
Wow, that got really awful.
Yeah, it got really bad.
But that guy wins the Super Bowl for sure.
That guy for sure. He's got dedication. He's got hard work. You know,
he's courage in the pocket.
Yeah.
He's like, I killed and buried a hooker for a game at my bachelor party. You think I'm worried about getting tackled?
God, Romo.
Yeah.
This is one of the biggest revelations I've ever heard. This goes up there with us knowing that Phillip Rivers doesn't swear.
Yeah. And by the way, I put Tony Romo as I would take Tony Romo over Carson Palmer knowing this.
No. That ended it for me. That alone ended it for me. The fact that he played hide and seek at his bachelor party.
If Carson Palmer did this at his bachelor party, like no one would have found him. He would have starved to death. Like, but yeah, I mean, so is it Romo to the Texans? Is that the prediction?
Either to the Texans or he's retiring.
It's amazing. Where are the Vikings at, man? The Vikings just love Sam Bradford.
They do.
Hide and go seek a new quarterback, you idiots.
Yeah. If they played hide and go seek with Sam Bradford, for sure he'd get lost.
Oh, yeah.
Like he'd end up on a milk carton. They'd be like, Sam Bradford, Vikings quarterback.
And then people would be like, oh, my God, the retarded kid got lost.
Yeah.
Look at his cross-eyed.
Yeah, this isn't good. He's going to like accidentally walk in front of a car at night, oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
It wouldn't end well. Well, Joe, I think that's pretty much it, my man.
Okay.
Do we want to update Dirtball Madness?
Oh, yeah. Dirtball Madness is – do you have the bracket in front of you?
Let me see.
You got to go to Jack's Twitter.
Let me pull it up. So if you guys are following along, again, that's at Dayton Dirtball. That's our own version of March Madness. Yeah, we have the Elite Eight. The Elite Eight right now.
Yep.
Kyle Aronofsky, the undisputed number one matzo ball. Wow.
From Tom's River, New Jersey, home of the Little League World Champs.
Gino from Reno, the asshole from El Paso. I like these nicknames.
Yo, fool.
Yo, fool.
You think he's going to drive from Reno down to I think he's a Cowboys fan, isn't he?
He's a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
John Smith, the number one verified dirtball.
Throwing it down in North Carolina.
Our boy Poop Sock.
Poop Sock. Poop Sock's like hurting his own cause every time he chimes in on college basketball.
Yeah. Jesus.
El numero uno dirtback.
Yeah. Vegas Zay.
I mean, Vegas Zay just...
Is he getting votes because he's black?
Solely.
Let's just be honest.
He just wins on the black vote
Let's
alone.
just be honest. I think our fans don't want to look racist, so they give him votes because he's black.
I also think people are afraid of Vegas Zay, even though he only posts pictures of food.
Yeah.
Like, his Instagram is a basic white girl.
His Instagram is the most basic. Here's the thing. I don't know why you're intimidated by Vegas Zay. He's a dude with dreadlocks who smokes copious amounts of marijuana and loves to eat.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't met him.
He was snowboarding this weekend. He was snowboarding and eating escargot. He's whiter than I am.
Yeah, I haven't met him, but he seems like a chill dude. So I don't know why everybody's intimidated by him. We got Jay Lloyd, the number one Photoshop king for the show, and A. Millie, the Cajun sensation. That's an interesting group.
Yeah.
You have a good mixture in here, Praino. That's actually a very diverse group.
Some real fishermen in that group too.
So if you guys go to at Dayton Dirtball, the Dirtball Madness will continue. And also,
Aronofsky took down Bo, by the way. It's a big win.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one. We were discussing, if you guys are listening to the show right now, listen to the whole fucking show.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people miss our stand-up dates.
And then they're like, what? You were in San Diego.
There was a dirtball literally at my show in San Diego that wasn't there to see me. Adam Hunter was the headliner. And after the show, he's like, holy shit, I didn't know you were performing tonight.
He's like, I was looking you up there. You're doing all these Taco Bell jokes, and you got a wonky eye. And I was like, that's Andy Ruther.
I don't have any Taco Bell jokes. So enough of it. I haven't done a Taco Bell joke in so fucking long. You keep let everybody know I do Taco Bell jokes. I've not done Taco Bell jokes forever.
Man, there goes our Taco Bell sponsorship.
However, I do want to name my first stand-up special Taco Bell in Sweatpants, but I don't think Taco Bell will allow that. How about burritos and sweatpants?
I like it.
Anyway, dirtysports.com. We'd love your guys' opinion on the Kentucky versus the rest of the NBA debate.
Also, I mean, get in there on Romo versus Carson Palmer.
Yeah, that's an interesting discussion.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about Tony Romo doing hide and seek? Praino, where can they see you? Listen up.
I will be at the Irvine Improv this Thursday with Lachlan Patterson, my co-host from the Kooks of Comedy, and Tom Allen, who is a recent guest on the Kooks of Comedy, who I don't know if you saw. I know you know Tom as well. He had a pretty funny viral video going around. He went in front of the San Clemente City Council.
Was he going as Chad?
Yeah, he went as Chad. He's trying to get a statue of Paul Walker put up in San Clemente.
Tom Allen, his character and his shtick, hilarious. Love it.
And the guys who were down there at the pond, Andrew and I think Jack, they're down there. So you guys come out to Irvine. Any Orange County dirt balls, any of you guys in LA that are close to Irvine, it'll be a good show. I'm doing a long set. Feature set before Lachlan, who we all know is hilarious. So come to that. Or Friday for you LA. I mean, I broke the news to Jesus. Apparently Jesus, an Elite 8 dirt ball, didn't listen to the whole show because he missed the plug that we're going to be at Sports Harbor on Friday.
Yeah. It's a fun, free show.
Fun, free show. I'll be wearing a dress for my Adrian Gonzalez bet.
Yeah, let me just describe Sports Harbor. A few quick anecdotes we've already talked about. Sports Harbor, one time after a show, I ended up banging a chick that did cocaine in the alley. Fun show. They have Papa Shot. Fun show.
Yeah.
Praino's headlining. Fun show.
Yeah, and they're closing soon. This is like the end. This is like one of the last hurrahs for Sports Harbor.
Sports Harbor's closing?
Yeah, they sold the building. I mean, that's like honestly
gentrification, man.
Yeah.
They're gonna turn into like some fucking Jamba Juice or some shit.
Yeah, come to the show and just Let's get a riot going that they're going to close Ports Harbor.
What time is that show?
I think it's 7:30.
Thought it was 8 or 9.
It's on my website, joepraino.com.
Yeah, it's on my website too, andyruther.com. You can check that out along with my awesome blogs.
But definitely check it out on mine.
You should check it out on mine first because I have vlogs. He doesn't vlog, so you know. And of course, you guys know, follow us on Twitter at The Dirty Sports. Subscribe to us on YouTube. This is another great YouTube video we're doing down in the clubhouse. And guys, subscribe, leave comments, and put those. Guys, I know the March Madness tournament challenge is over, but keep leaving those iTunes reviews. That helps out the show so much. So if you've been listening to the show forever and you haven't put an iTunes review, what the fuck, bro? Or Dirt Bella, we need some more female reviews.
Yeah.
Follow Joe on Twitter at Fix Your Life. You can follow me at Andy Ruther. And I think that's about it for plugs, right?
That's it.
Oh, yeah, and again, new shirts. We got Yo Fool shirts. We're also going to do some Vegas Baby Raiders shirts.
So some Raiders shirts going up at dirtysports.com.
Yo Fool. How much? Okay, like $25, bro? How much is that in pesos, bro?
We should do another Raiders shirt that looks like a Raiders jersey, but the number is covered with bandoleros. Like a Derek Carr jersey with just bullets crossing it.
That's great. All right, Dirtballs, thanks for sticking around. And as always, guys, don't forget, condoms are for pussies.
With Andy Ruther and Joe Praino. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.